If you are a Democrat who has made peace with your Trump supporter friends and family and have agreed just to get together, excuse me, and not talk about what's going on in order to keep the peace, if you're exercising that privilege because things won't affect you that way, and you're not talking about the fate of this innocent, poor soul, this man, this U.S. citizen who was deported erroneously, this U.S. citizen. They're
the same people who are showing support and empathy towards Lincoln Riley. Well, they're the same people who showed no remorse, no support at all towards Kilmar Garcia. How can you show so much empathy towards one human being and not the other? Because we don't even know if Kilmar Garcia is even alive. I guess that's the world we live in now, where one person matters and the other doesn't. I mean, wasn't the right the ones that were saying all lives matter?
The Supreme Court has ordered Trump to bring him back, and Trump has said, meh, we're not going to do that, ignoring the law. If you're not talking about this with your MAGA supporters, then you may as well be a MAGA supporter yourself. Because what's happening to this man, aside from the atrocity that is just happening to him and his family, you are contributing to the beginning of the downfall of democracy.
You guys, I wanted to do a reading about Kilmar. I think a lot of people think he's been unalived. So I did a reading and I want to show you the cards I did. Okay, so first, I'm going to spin the camera around. Hold on. There's quite a few cards. Okay, so first cards out is a collaboration. So there was a collaboration with El Salvador to do the thing with them, right? And so they had progress with this whole thing. And the spiritualist, right? There's a lot of like, I don't know, it's not so much spiritual, but like, have you seen the way that those people are in that prison? Like it's intense, right? So it's almost like a following, like it's almost like they have them under like lock and key. Like there is no like ifs, ands, or buts about how they behave. It's a hard one to explain what I'm seeing. Like the way they act is almost like some of like out of this world, the prisoners there, right? It's like crazy.
If people can be deported with no trial, no proof, and now Pan Bondi is even saying that they're going to look to anybody who is against Trump, this could happen to. If Trump gets away with not bringing this man back, that is what it will lead to, because then he cannot be stopped. The end of American democracy, just like the Holocaust. We don't even know if this poor man is alive.
So there's also pentacles, money involved, okay? When I see four pentacles on a normal tarot, it's somebody keeping pentacles to themselves, money to themselves, being stingy, but then reversed, you know, like they're giving the people to the Venezuelan or the El Salvador, I'm getting them mixed up, sorry, the El Salvador government, okay? So there was a collaboration, they're making progress, and they're giving these prisoners that are like falling in line, spiritual, I feel like cultish, okay? So then I pulled out the Kipper deck, okay? You guys, I love the Kipper deck. First card that came out, imprisonment, okay? So yes, he is absolutely imprisoned. But I got bad health. So maybe he's not feeling well, okay? But he's not, I don't think he's unalived, okay? So I think he's still with us. I just don't think he's probably in the best shape.
I don't know why they're not bringing him back, but they just don't care. And my guess is that your Trump supporter friends are going to have gotten different news, and they're not going to have heard about this. Or if they have, they're going to believe these latest rumors that he was indeed a criminal, but there's zero proof, and he simply was not. They're just saying that now. But the Trump supporters aren't going to care because his skin is a different color. So if you're just sort of being like, yep, we're not going to talk about this, let's just have a good time, maybe you should just unfollow me.
Okay, so then I got thieves. They took him straight out of his family room. I got the family room, right? They took him right away from his family. Okay, so it doesn't have to be the family room, it could be the family. They literally took him off the street, okay? And who did this? The head honcho, the wealthy people, the wealthy men. The wealthy men took him. So that was the next card. Okay, and then I said, well, is he alive or is he unalive, right? And then I want to know. So then I pulled out my Astro Ascension deck, and I got this card. Keep the faith, the purpose, balance, harmony, trust, standing strong, positive attitude, divine timing. Keep up the good work, abundance. I do not think he is unalived. I think he is okay. I just don't think he's feeling very well right now. I think he's probably, maybe they've put some hands on him. Maybe he's not getting fed well. Maybe he's not feeling well. But I do believe that if we keep the faith, he will still stay alive.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia has no idea that his name and his case has triggered a constitutional crisis in this country, going all the way to the Supreme Court with an almost unheard of unanimous ruling mandating the President of the United States to bring him home. He is sitting in El Salvador with absolutely zero communication to the outside world, thinking that he has been forgotten and abandoned by anybody who is not his family. And yet tomorrow, a sitting U.S. Senator is flying to El Salvador to ensure his safety. We all have our fears about what has actually happened to Kilmar, but we cannot minimize the impact that this man has had on our country. At this point, it looks like Kilmar Abrego Garcia is the shot that was heard around the world.
In 222, this is like one of my favorite numbers, my friends. So we need to keep the faith. But this is he got robbed out of his family. There was a deal made, obviously, right? And so just recapping. And then I also got the body card. So his body is still beating because I feel like I don't feel like he's unalive. At never any point did I feel like he was unalive. But they are toying with him and using him as a martyr.
These two soulless people destroyed a man's life over absolutely nothing. What do you think the devil will say when these two get to hell, when they come to talk about what they did to Kilmar Garcia? This is an absolute nightmare. You snatched him. You kidnapped him. You human trafficked him. You are illegally incarcerating him. And now you are sitting in front of the world and laughing about it and pretending there's nothing you can do about it. This is disgusting. This is a real tragedy that this man's life has been ruined. His family's life has been destroyed. And these two. And Trump wants you to know this could happen to any of us. This could happen to any American citizen. He is a partner in El Salvador who will imprison anyone. They don't care. Any American, even a citizen, can be disappeared now.
This card is the most important. We all need to keep the faith that he's okay. So I do believe he's okay. I don't think he's like healthy, like kicking it right now, but I think he is okay. It's crazy that this card popped out, like insane, my friends. Okay, but I think he's alive and okay for now. They got to get him out of there. Though.
Kilmar Abrego Garcia. Don't stop saying his name. I watched 2 YouTube documentaries about the prison in El Salvador. You can watch it yourself. Just literally go to YouTube and type in El Salvador prison, and that's what's going to pop up. It's literal hell on earth. Don't stop saying this man's name. If we stop, y'all, if it can happen to one, it can happen. It's happening more and more and more. Right? Like this is happening. Please. I'm a homegrown, right? I don't even know what to say. It's like a matter of time. Please don't stop saying his name.
Level of ridiculousness is now through the roof. Here's an update on that Abrego Garcia guy who was deported because he was in the country illegally. The administration says he's a member of MS-13. Now you've got a U.S. Senator, I kid you not, who is saying he's thinking about going to El Salvador to visit the guy. This is Chris Van Hollen, who is a U.S. Senator from Maryland.
To see Abrego Garcia, to let him know that His family and friends are very worried about him, as am I. I think that the situation for both the Trump administration and the president of El Salvador is unsustainable because the Supreme Court, as you reported, by 9-0, has said the Trump administration has to facilitate his return. And you have the president of El Salvador saying, well, I don't have the power to release him. Both things are untrue. The president could, of course, facilitate his return. After all, the United States is paying El Salvador money for this prison. And of course, the president of El Salvador could release him. So at some point, I think this becomes unsustainable. People are going to keep calling for his release because the Trump administration itself has admitted he was wrongfully whisked out of the country, and we have a 9-0 decision from the Supreme Court.
Oh, you heard him right. He wants to go to El Salvador to visit the citizen of El Salvador who's in a prison in El Salvador. By the way, if you like what I laid down, make sure you're following. I try to make these very complex stories very simple. Simply stated, the Supreme Court did rule 9-0 in favor of the Trump administration that a lower court can't tell the executive what to do, Article 2 powers on foreign issues. But if the guy is being brought back, then the administration has to facilitate it. Doesn't mean they have to go and get him. Doesn't mean that they have to do anything outside the boundaries of take him back if he's being sent back. Now, the president of El Salvador didn't say, I don't have the ability to bring him back. He said, why would I let him go in my country where he would add to crime? Or you want me to smuggle him back into the USA where he was illegally? Again, when you close the book on this case in your mind, I want you to think of it this way. This guy is a citizen of El Salvador who's serving time in El Salvador. There is no mechanism or way to bring him back here legally because he was in this country illegally. Didn't have a green card, no student visa, didn't apply for citizenship, no permanent residency. He was an illegal alien here. And again, when he talks about the administration admitting something, Stephen Miller yesterday said that person who said that had been fired for telling a mistruth about this case. So hopefully this clears it up. The guy is in a prison in the country where he's a citizen, and he has no rights to be brought back here whatsoever.